Hi Libra, this is your forecast for the month of October 2017. If you have visited me before, I'd like to thank you for returning, and if you are new, welcome to my channel. This is a general reading for Libra Sun, Libra Rising, or Libra Moon. It might also be helpful for you to watch your rising and moon sign. You can join me on Facebook and Instagram for daily insights on tarot and astrology, as well as my pay-per-view channel, vimeo.com/thealchemistastrologer, where you can find on-demand pages with videos for love, finance, and other readings. So Libra, this first week of October for you is an important one. It's a major card. And so there's a spiritual lesson attached to this week. This could be a week where you're trying to conclude some unfinished business. You're seeking some form of renewal. And so life may be in a transitory stage for you right now. There's a major transformation taking place and some major life changes. Maybe you're meeting up with an agent of change. For some of you, this is a connection to a Scorpio person. But there is a deep sense of wanting to leave the past behind and have a sense of renewal, gaining some power, perhaps bringing something back to life. Maybe there's something that you want to revitalize, or there's something that you want to release or surrender to. So for some of you, this is going to come with a sense of grief because of some loss that you're suffering. Perhaps you're getting a divorce, or maybe you're ending a relationship, or, maybe you're even dealing with an actual death. But you may be, mourning the loss of a former lifestyle. For others of you, this is a change of status in some way. Maybe you're being committed to somebody. Maybe you're getting married, or you're relocating, or you're starting a new job. But something is changing, and this is going to be a week where you're going to pull back that curtain to take a closer look at something. So perhaps there is a very important opportunity in front of you, or maybe you're facing a major obstacle or challenge. Whatever it is, it's going to act as a catalyst for your determination. So this is going to be a week where your survival instincts kick in, and you want to make these sweeping changes and reinvent yourself in some way, because you're seeking greater freedom. There's some things that haven't been working, and maybe you are coming to terms with that. Maybe you're letting go of something, releasing something, because you don't want to be in environments that don't help you grow, don't help you move forward, that keep you feeling boxed in, or where you feel like you haven't been on firm footing. You don't want that uncertainty in your life anymore, because this is a week where you're very security oriented. And so you're ready, determined, and motivated to make some major changes. So again, it can run the gamut of anything from ending an emotional relationship or starting something new. And in some cases, you can end things in such a way that you transform it. You end one aspect of it and it takes on a different form. So maybe, you're in a relationship that's not working, and yet somehow you end up remaining friends because you both realize it doesn't work. Or again, this could be a week where you give new life to something, a project you had in mind, or maybe you start up a friendship again that you had from a long time ago. So this is a week where you are adaptable to change. And this could be a week that's very unpredictable, but you're ready for those, whatever's coming around that corner, you're prepared to deal with it. Now, for some of you, there's a resistance to change and you're stuck. Maybe you're being bullheaded about something, or there's a fear of change. Or for some of you, you're holding on to some kind of extreme position that you have. And in that case, you're stuck. You're stuck in limbo, or maybe something is being taken from you that you wouldn't normally give up voluntarily. But you are regenerating in some way. Maybe you're looking back over things and it's difficult for you to make changes because you're dwelling on the past and all the things that kept you from achieving in the way that you should have. And you're making excuses, and it's keeping you battling yourself, battling other people, battling opportunities. Some of you, and this is, a strong possibility, is that you've drawn a wall around yourself. You're very self-contained. You don't need anybody else. You've been so self-reliant for so long that perhaps you don't trust anymore. And you're not even willing to hammer out differences. If something is difficult, rather than deal with it, your go-to strategy is to turn around and walk away. So this is a week where if you are resistant to change, if you're in denial, then you're going to stay stuck in this position. This is a week about, again, reinventing yourself, the power of personal self-regeneration. So on some level, whether it is financially, emotionally, physically, psychologically, you are being encouraged to pull down deep and, pull on your strength in order to reach the top of a situation, and you can do it. This is a week where you can find a better way to live, a better way, to deal with situations if you're willing to try. This card has strong ties to Pluto, so this is all about transformation, and it can be very intense. These are intense life changes, whether it's a birth, a death, surgery, psychological issues, dealing with shared resources, financial issues, wealth, digging down deep to go beneath the surface. This can be a very intense week, and the way to get past any challenges that you face, again, is that issue of regeneration, changing what has come before. Because the negative side of this card is stagnation, staying stuck. Now, the second week, you have this Nine of Pentacles. So for some of you, maybe the focus is on real estate or property, maybe some large sums of money attached to that, or releasing some property, or again, this idea of being very self-contained, because this card speaks to feeling good about being by yourself. You're happy alone. And in many cases, you may have the money and the time to spend on your own personal enjoyment. So this could be leisure, or maybe you're getting, some retirement, or maybe you're making some changes in your business. This is a card of self-employment. So this is going to be a week, again, about personal achievement. That's what's going to give you the peace of mind. And so you may be letting go of some old belief systems that you had, and where you may have had too many expectations for a situation, whether that was in another person or a circumstance. Maybe there were issues where somebody was being too demanding. And if that's the case, you're going to come to some kind of disappointment, because you're going to realize how very much your circumstances depend on you creating that sense of success. This is all about being self-sufficient. Now, for some of you, this is going to be a week where, you are taking some time out. You're going into retreat mode. Maybe you're getting in touch with nature. Maybe there's a strong concern for the environment in some way. This is also about managing your property, managing your skills. And so that could be very important for you. So because this is a week where you're making some huge changes because you want that financial and personal independence. So last week you were releasing some things, you were purging something, cutting out the dead wood. And this week you're focused on some self-mastery, some attainment of something. You want something to bear fruit for you. So you're trying to cultivate something in order to gain some financial security. Now, for some of you, this is going to be a week where if you weren't making those necessary changes, if you allowed a situation to stagnate, you could be faced with some financial instability. Maybe this is going to be the consequence of some poor choices that you made, or you're struggling because there's some problems with property or real estate. Perhaps there's some unexpected repairs that you have to contend with. There's something unusual where it's causing perhaps a financial setback, or you're feeling as if you're trapped in a situation and you strongly want to be free. Again, there could be some property damage, some environmental issues, or perhaps you're dealing with some underhanded situations where there is some deceit or swindling or something illicit taking place, perhaps even some theft. In the positive, this is about nurturing self, taking care of self, taking a time out to heal self. So you could be doing some inner and outer healing, especially with last week, that important transformation taking place. So this could be a week where you need to take that time out and nourish yourself, love yourself. So you stand to gain a great deal by whatever hard work and effort you put in the past and how much you're believing in yourself. For some of you, there are some sexual issues taking place. Perhaps there is a secret admirer or vice versa. But this is a week where it's likely that relationships serve some type of practical purpose for you. This is Venus in Virgo. And so it's all about being very discriminating and discerning about who you get involved with. In fact, you may place the bar so high that you have difficulty maintaining a relationship because maybe you feel like other people just don't meet your standard. And so again, we get back to that issue of being very self-contained. But this can be somebody that you are looking at as an ideal. They possess all of the qualities that you admire. They're attractive, they're intelligent, they're good at business. This person seems to have it all going on, or maybe somebody is viewing you that way. So this is a week again that focuses on the security, the financial, the emotional aspect of life, and you, in fact, could have some fortunate family or business connections that work for you this week. Maybe you're making a major change because you're going to purchase a piece of property, or you're going to inherit some type of asset, or you're trying to release something. So that could be important for you this week. Whatever it is, it's possible that you get some kind of reward, some kind of recognition. Maybe you attend some kind of function. Maybe somebody just simply thanks you. So there are some changes in place. Now, for those of you who are dealing with stagnation or some underhanded people, something that's not on the up and up, this could be a week where you hear some gossip and you're maybe taken aback by what you hear, because whatever it is, it's not pleasant, it's not fair, it may not even be truthful. And your first impulse may be to strike back. But just know that whatever you do could have some repercussions later on. So if you've come across some gossip or some rumors, or there's some secrets, think twice before you participate and share that and become a part of that chain. because this is a week where you have to be careful. Whatever you're getting involved in, whatever you're, investing your energy in as far as amusement or entertainment or people, they could ultimately bring you trouble or some type of danger, disappointment, or heartache. And it's going to be, your investment is, not going to be worth what you're getting out of a situation, especially if in the past you were working through some kind of loss or disappointment. So this is a week to be mindful of any type of loss or a threat to your reputation or your security. And again, you're encouraged to take some time out to take care of you. Now, the third week, you are struggling with something, and perhaps, if last week there were some false accusations or some gossip or a secret that came out, maybe that's what you're grappling with. This is a week where there could be some pettiness going on, some ego battles, power plays, people vying for position. Some of you, maybe you are dealing with competitors or opponents, or just people that seem to instigate trouble. So this is a week where either you are defending yourself or defending other people, or you're involved in some type of competitive situation, or you're dealing with some internal battles within yourself. There's something that you want, some strong desire, and something unexpected is going to happen either in your professional life or your personal life that causes you to question the direction that you're moving in. And again, that first week, you're making some transition. You probably want a greater sense of freedom. Maybe you want more time to enjoy yourself, or maybe you're seeking greater financial independence, or there's something that you want, but it's a struggle for you, and you're looking at what your goals are, what your objectives are. And if you were dealing with manipulative people, you're now questioning the sincerity of the people that you're involved with. Some of you, you're looking at your friendships, your collaborative partnerships, and maybe you're coming together with others in order to solve some situations that would bolster you financially or emotionally. Some of you, you're recognizing that some of the change that you need to make is that you do need to socialize more. Maybe you have been closing yourself off, or there needs to be a greater lightness, a playfulness in your life. Whatever it is, this is a week where you may decide to step up to the plate and take on more than is your fair share. You're going to volunteer to do something. Even if that wasn't the original plan, you're going to go above and beyond. And in spite of any kind of ego battles or power plays with other people, you're not going to take that bait. You're going to let it play out, and you're going to ignore it and rise above. And you're going to avoid that temptation to overstep your boundaries. Maybe you want to say something, but you pull yourself back. This is a week where you really have to be careful about how you're focusing your energy, because it's likely that either you or somebody you're involved with is making a situation way more difficult than it has to be. And it may be a week where it's difficult to get to the root cause of conflict. People may be instigating arguments or disagreements, but those things are just excuses. Maybe there's some deep anger or resentment that's been sitting there, and the first opportunity that comes up, that's used as the trigger for an argument. If you're having an internal battle, you're struggling with yourself, and because you don't know you yet, it's making it difficult for you to get along with other people. So this could be a week that feels somewhat troublesome, where there's a lot of things to attend to. As soon as you deal with one thing, maybe there's something else that crops up. Especially those of you who are dealing with property. Maybe you're, trying to repair something, and you know how those things go when you start some kind of improvement project. You tear one thing out, and all of a sudden, all of these other issues come up. So maybe that's what you're dealing with. Whatever it is, it's like one thing after another. And you may be so intent on settling everything, making all these changes, that you actually burn yourself out. And in some cases, if you're dealing with people who really are not worth the effort, you may be involved in no-win situations. So whatever it is, there's something troubling you and you're finding it difficult to relax or move ahead because you're in a struggle. Now, the last week you have this World card, and this is a major card. So the beginning and the end of the month is very important for you, and the outcome of situations may be out of your hands. Now, this could be a week where you are dealing with foreigners, international affairs, maybe you're traveling, maybe your health is an issue. You could be dealing with people who are very different than yourself. And so your tolerance level for something that maybe you don't understand or that's foreign to you, it will be important this week. This is also about, trying to reach a goal. Maybe you're struggling to reach a goal, or maybe you're struggling to understand the differences of others. So something is wrapping up. This is the last card in the majors, and so you have completed a cycle, and hopefully it's a triumphant ending for you where you've attained something. You're trying to reach that goal, and maybe you feel proud of yourself. It's a job well done. You feel like the best possible thing happened for you. For others of you, again, there's this focus on this transition. You may make a decision to travel or go overseas or change your residence or change your job. There's something about your environmental conditions that are important, and perhaps your physical and your emotional health. So this is a week where you have a breakthrough of some sort. You get some kind of inspiration or motivation or insight, and something is successful. Something takes off for you. Maybe you receive some unexpected news, or there's an unexpected visitor. So this is a week of new beginnings. At the beginning of the month, there were some endings in order to make way, and here we are at more endings and more new beginnings. So that's an important theme for you. This is a second chance for you at something. And it's time for you to focus on purging bad habits, emotional dependencies, unproductive pursuits, because you now realize that they're not helping you. So this is a good time for you to start something new. And it's always best to start with your attitude, how you're looking at life, and making some improvement, whatever is necessary, wherever you've been falling short, whether that's your health, the way you've been taking care of yourself, the way you've been dealing with your finances, the way you've been dealing with your relationships or your job or your work, your profession, your goals. Whatever it is, this is a brand new start for you. And this card, because it's about completions and running through all the spiritual lessons, at the end of the day, it's important to, for self-acceptance and for acceptance of others through compassion and forgiveness, that understanding of differences or why we may have made the choices that we did. So this is, a good way to kick off your new start is by releasing all of the old resentments, the anger, the frustration, the feelings, and having a sense of peace, forgiving yourself and forgiving other people. So this is a good week to be a self-starter, to create whatever ending you want to see happen. And again, you're going to have, several fortunate business, social, or romantic connections that open up some opportunities for you. And this may be very motivational for you. You know, if last week you were into solving problems rather than struggling, you may have a great sense of resolve to uphold your decisions so that you can enjoy life the way you want to, especially if you feel good about the decisions you've made, you feel good about yourself and what you're doing. You're able to overcome challenges with other people and come to some kind of terms diplomatically. So this is a week where if you are your best you don't really have to put out a whole lot of effort. Opportunity is going to magnetically attract to you. So this could be a week where if you had some challenges to deal with, medical, financial, legal, this is the week where you reach that mountaintop. You come full circle with a situation. Now, if last week you were struggling though, and that's your approach, you're still in a battle with yourself, then you may feel pressure to move in another direction, and you may even put forth some effort to do it. But if you're not fully aligned, totally mind, body, spirit, then it's likely you're going to fall back into a rut. And even though you start something, it's like starting that diet, but you're not fully committed, and sooner or later there you are eating that burger or those fries or whatever it is. So if you don't start something for the right reason, regardless of whatever vision you have in your head, it's likely not to take off. This is also a week to be mindful of limitations, and maybe you're struggling with that, going too far in whatever direction that is. Maybe you're spending too much money, or you're going too far emotionally with people. Maybe you're taking some shortcuts or coming up with some schemes that you think are going to work. And ultimately, the only thing that that's going to do is make people feel uncomfortable about being connected to you. So this is a week to avoid any impulsiveness. Whatever you're doing, again, you should be fully aligned with mind and heart and focused and concentrated and putting your resolve in making those important changes. This is a week to set realistic goals that make you feel good about life. Now, the underlying energy is this moon card. So something is at play for you. You're making these important changes and coming to the end of a cycle because you perhaps are getting in touch with something very emotional, instinctual, or psychological within you. And you may be working through to break up some old patterns, some old conditioning. For some of you, this ties to family or your past or your heritage. And for some of you, maybe this is about travel or dealing with your domestic affairs or mother-child issues. Or for some of you, if this is health, even, again, emotional or psychological or digestive issues. Because it's all about the way you nurture yourself, and food is one of the base forms of nurturance. So for some of you, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of strong emotions during this month. And maybe you're focused on your fantasy life or your creativity. But you are working through some things, and perhaps where you've been deceiving yourself or you face deception in other people. This could be a month where maybe you're struggling because it's difficult for you to get on the same page with people. Maybe you feel emotionally out of sync with others. But it can be a month of adventure where you're seeking new horizons. And again, that may come through travel or pushing boundaries in some way, reinventing yourself, making some changes and having some new perceptions. So this is going to be a month where you're really examining your life, a situation, a relationship, and you're having to be very honest about where you are and what changes need to be made. And this process could be rather emotional for you. You may feel, and that could be the struggle. You're having emotional struggles. You're torn. Your emotions are going up and down like the tides. And you may feel irritable. Maybe you feel suspicious, especially if you're dealing with people who are very different than you. Maybe you feel anxious about something because, maybe some people are acting manipulative or underhanded. Whatever it is, there's something that you sense and it's troubling you, and maybe you don't even know the exact source of that distress. This is a very intuitive month for you. And it's likely that you're going to hear something negative, something about someone you know, or something is going to come from somebody you know. And again, it could be that secret, that gossip, the accusation, something negative. And whatever it is, it's going to affect you in a physical manner. You may have nervous upsets. You may have stress-related illnesses. You may have digestive situations. So you could be struggling with people pleasing. Sometimes Libra has a difficulty in making decisions. There's a very strong desire to not have confrontation, to be diplomatic. You want the best, you want people to behave the way they should. And so there could be this deep need to be loved, accepted, or needed. And you may be going out of your way to get that. And as a result, it's leaving you vulnerable. And so when people don't perform, when they don't show manners, when they don't have etiquette, when they don't show sensitivity, you may take that more personally. You may feel like they've criticized you or they've offended you, even if that wasn't their intent. So the way to get around situations this month is for you to try to relax, to try to focus on things that bring you pleasure. And again, we have that Nine of Pentacles, feeling good in your own skin, feeling good about you, knowing when you need to take time to step back and heal yourself. And in those moments when you do, whatever situation that you're trying to solve or that you're struggling with, you're going to find those answers. And then that way you don't have to struggle or take your frustrations out on other people. So this is a month for you to avoid any kind of self-denial about your work, your health, your relationships, where you have been working to defeat yourself, where you've been putting your energy in the wrong place, where you've been allowing your fears to stop you from being successful, where you've been allowing your anger to work against opportunities for you, and those things that could make your life change for the better. So anything that is hidden or secretive, because there's some kind of hidden influence taking place, something going on behind the scenes that you may not at first be aware of. Whatever has been secretive or hidden is going to come to the surface, whether that's on your part or the part of others. And so this is not a month for you to allow yourself to become emotionally overwhelmed. In spite of whatever worries you have or something that's, occupying your mind or creating anxiety, try to release that, because the more you focus on it, the more vulnerable you become emotionally and physically, and it's not helping you achieve whatever it is you're going after. So for some of you, this is going to be a month where it's time to wake up to a situation. And it probably has to do with addressing some things that perhaps you've been putting off until now, some things that you wanted to avoid. There could be confrontation involved, tying up some loose ends, but ultimately you have the ability to achieve your objective. Although this is going to be a month where, however you thought it was going to play out, again, the death card says there's some unpredictable things headed your way. And so it's best for you to accommodate those changes and go with the flow. It's also going to, connect to your moods, your mindset, your feelings, how well you deal with whatever is going on in your environment. You have 3 major cards, and so this is going to be an especially significant month emotionally and spiritually. So this is you putting a lot of passion into something, a new venture, a project, and also you may be involved in situations where you're trying to motivate other people. Maybe it's a group of people who are not necessarily on board. For some of you, maybe that comes in the form of trying to help people who may be in difficult situations, or maybe a group of people that are on the fringe of society, and you're trying to act as a catalyst to change their lives in some way, or so they're forced to participate in whatever it is, whatever circumstance, given their circumstances. So this could be the ambition to help other people. This could be, courses, teaching, activities that are meant to increase the confidence of other people. Or for some of you, there's some kind of business that you have or some interest that you're involved in that hits a tiny slice of the public. It's a niche. There's also something going on within your world where somebody is trying to divide and conquer. And again, it could be, somebody behind the scenes, some false accusations, somebody letting some secrets out. But somebody is going to take control of a situation as they see fit. Somebody's going to step up, and it could involve, parties that are at odds with each other where there's no resolution. And something needs to happen because other people are suffering as a result of that. So there's something about indecision, and it's related to that 3rd week where you're struggling with something. For some of you, maybe this has to do with struggling with some property taxes. All right, Libra, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. And of course, you can always book a personal reading at thealchemistastrologer.com.